What were you like when you were 14?
What I was really like when I was 14 years old back then in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say I'm the smartest kid among my siblings, but I'm just quite an average student back then. I'm this kind of person. I'm introvert. I like
Mm-hmm.
keeping things to myself. I like doing things on my own.
Okay.
Within the family setting, I would say I'm one of the beloved among the my siblings. So
Okay.
it was like kind of quiet for me because I keep a very close friends. I don't have much friends, at the same time, I try to do my things on my own.
Okay. I was very dramatic. I was all over the place. My four parents had a handful with me. Nobody ever understood what I'm going through. All my feelings were misunderstood, and I was extremely dramatic. I've always been animated, and I had a lot of friends, but um, I was never the type to be aggressive. Although I wanted to be, I felt like I wanted to be aggressive, but I always try to, calm down and not be as dramatic, although it didn't always work. Um, but as you and I were very, very different as teenagers, the people that we're going to talk about today, they were also incredibly different from each other. And we're talking about three teenage girls. They were 14. One of them was killed, and the other two were the killers. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shades of Guilt. I'm Stella,
Then I'm Richard.
and we're sorry that we had to delay our launch. We had some technical difficulties, and after we recorded part one and part two of episode one, Jealousy Kills, we realized that we had no sound. So we had to re-record everything. But this time we're gonna continue with the whole case. I want to offer content warning. We're going to be talking about child crime. We're going to be talking about sexual assault. And also, we're going to talk about child murder. So, if any of those topics feel uncomfortable for you, feel free to click out. And we're going to see you on the next one.
And also, we also ask you guys to also support us by subscribing to our channels. Do where to click on the like button. If you have any comment to comment on after the videos, we appreciate that. We welcome any kind of suggestions to help us improve in our channels.
If you agree with us, if you disagree with us, we welcome the discussion and we're going to be answering all of your comments. Thank you for that, and let's get to it. So, this
what do we have
case,
today?
we have a case which to me feels very close to home because at the time that it happened, I was living 200 meters away from the place. And being so close to where it happened, you kind of feel connected to the case. You cannot just avoid it. So I was following it from the beginning. It was a case that actually was revealed pretty quickly. It wasn't something that took a long time, but still, it was a very, very shocking case because it was 2004. Um, at least I hadn't heard about something like this. And I was really feeling very sad for the victim and to a certain degree, even to the perpetrators. And you understand why, because they were all 14 years old. They were eighth grade at the time. So the two girls, Antonia and Maria, the two friends, they have long been thinking about how to get rid of their beautiful, popular classmate and friend, Margarita. I'm gonna call Margarita Maggie for the purposes of this video because this is what everybody else called her at the time. And the two girls, they were friends with Maggie, but they kind of felt like they wanted to be her, but at the same time they couldn't be her because she was like a sunshine. You know what? One of these girls that when she enters the room and everything brightens up. And she was beautiful, and she was loved, and she was popular, and the guys liked her, and they didn't like the other two girls as much. So they kind of wanted to be her, but they couldn't. And they were so sick of it. They were so tired of not being as popular that they felt like killing.
Wow. So what really make Maggie so quite unique and different? How is her um, youth age like?
Well, first of all, she's obviously gorgeous, and she had that type of character that she would get along with everybody. She wasn't a type of person to create conflicts, and she was very well liked by everyone. Not only the boys, not only the other girls, but also teachers and also other adults. Um, there is almost not a single person who has said anything bad about her. So she was one of those people that everybody loved.
Also, she's just like a celebrity in her time when she was
Yeah,
alive.
kind of. If you can say that, but like you know that in every school there is this popular girl that everybody loves, and they don't love her like the Regina George type of way,
Mhm.
but they love her because she's kind and she's sweet and she's obviously beautiful, and that's the type of person that Maggie was.
Okay.
And they were actually quite good friends. Maggie was friends with Maria first, but then Antonia came along, and the three of them they were actually quite good friends, and they would spend the afternoons after school at one of the girls' places. But one day, um, they decided to go to Antonia's place because usually at Maria's place there was always someone, and in Antonia's place there wasn't, and they were alone. So they decided to go there, and they invited Maggie to go with them. So without knowing that she's making the most fatal decision of her life, she agreed, and she went to spend the afternoon with her friend. Um, at the um, at the apartment, they were, just hanging around, talking, discussing stuff from school. But the two other girls, Antonia and Maria, they decided to go for a cigarette on the balcony. So now I know how this sounds. At 14, you know,
Kids
they
smoke
shouldn't be.
cigarettes
Yeah.
at 14.
Uh,
Is it legally acceptable in Bulgaria law?
no, it's not. But even though it's not, keep in mind that we're talking about a different time. 2004, the laws were not as strict as now. At 2004, you could send your kid, like who is 10, for example, to buy you cigarettes, which now it cannot happen. Like that's absolutely impossible right now. But at the time, you could go and send your kid to buy you beer from the shop, and now you cannot do that because obviously in Bulgaria right now you cannot sell alcohol or cigarettes to minors.
Okay.
But at the time it was kind of acceptable. So what they did was they went to have a cigarette on the balcony, and Maggie kind of decided to prank them a little bit, and she tried to close the door and lock it from the inside, so the two girls cannot uh, come back from the balcony. But by doing so, she actually accidentally squeezed the cat's tail uh, on the door, and the cat was obviously screaming because I guess it's not nice. And Antonio got really, really angry with that. I mean, I get it. I have two cats. If someone squishes my cat's tail, I wouldn't be very happy either, to be honest, because you know how much I love my cats. Um, but yeah, it wasn't such a big crime. But then Antonia just decided to try and squeeze Maggie's throat. And what we need to mention is that Antonia was actually advanced in judo, so she knew, how to strangle somebody.
But let me make me understand. Are you trying to tell me now that is it as a result of squeezing the
The
cat
cat's tail.
tail that's what prompts the
Well,
anger for her
yes, that's
squeezing her?
what prompted the anger, but actually, the two girls were considering the murder for almost a year
So they
before
took
that.
opportunity of
Yes,
the
yeah,
events that was happening at that moment
yes,
to do that.
and because Antonia got angry,
Okay.
that's why they decided that this is the moment and they're going to do it now. But they were considering it for a long time before that.
Okay, that means that they've already concluded that day that they're going to lure her to the house and the,
Well, I don't think so. I cannot be sure, but it's more like they were hanging around, and then when something like that happened, this triggered the actual murder.
okay.
While Antonia was squeezing Maggie's throat, Marie was holding her legs. And at a certain point, Maggie screamed, "Let me go! Are you crazy? You're going to kill me!" But they didn't stop. And the whole episode, it kind of lasted about 30 minutes. So it was really, really painful and cruel, and it was it was a torture for that poor little girl. But they didn't stop, and while Maria was holding her legs down, Antonia was squeezing her, and Maggie was fighting, but she lost her life on that day. The day was 5th of March, 2004, and it was a Friday. And that's important to mention because you're going to understand why I'm mentioning it that it was Friday, because this is very important to the case. So the two girls, because they didn't think about what's going to happen. Like, they were thinking, yes, we want to kill her, but they never actually gave a lot of thought about what's going to happen after that.
The consequences and the what's it called, the side effects that is going to take place.
Not only that, but yeah, killing someone is not that difficult, but then what you're going to do with the body? So how are you going to hide it? It's not like you can just
So what
make
happened?
it disappear.
So
It doesn't work like
so
that.
what
So
happened after the
um,
murder took place?
actually, they stripped Maggie of her clothes.
Naked.
They left her panties on, but yeah, they pretty much stripped her naked. And they took her ring, and they took her mobile phone. Another thing to know about 2004, having a mobile phone was not like super common, and it was expensive. Like, we would send messages to each other because it was expensive to call over the mobile phone. So a mobile phone could be expensive, and after that, they were thinking about what do we do with the body? We can, for example, burn her, but where? The neighborhood is very densely populated, so you cannot just that happened kind of in the middle of the day, so you cannot just take a body out and burn it. It's just not how it works. So they were thinking about what to do, and then they decided that they're gonna put her in the elevator shaft.
Wow.
Yeah, because Antonia lived on the last floor, on the highest floor. So the elevator shaft is right above that apartment. And they just put Maggie's body there. And they covered her with, with some wood, um, some other trash, but parts of her was still visible. And then they put her clothes in a bag, took her mobile phone, and went to a pawn shop where they sold her phone for 20 leva. That's the Bulgarian currency. And it's important also to mention that 20 leva at the time was kind of like, I don't know, maybe 100 euro now, something like that. It wasn't a lot of money, but it wasn't like a very tiny amount of money either. And with that money, they went and had coffee. That's like 2 hours after the murder.
No sign of remorse.
No, even if they felt remorse, nobody understood or nobody saw them being remorseful, really. Not at the time, anyway. And yeah, basically, they were not panicking. They were not worried. They were not remorseful. They didn't feel guilty. Or maybe they were just trying to avoid the feelings that they had, which also is a possibility. And they were thinking initially that where they stuck Maggie's body was like a temporary solution, but then they just didn't do anything to hide her. They just left her there in the shaft. So when the day passes, Maggie doesn't return home. So her mother, Svetlana, she's starting to get
Worried.
worried because obviously her 14-year-old daughter hasn't come home until the evening. And another thing to understand about Bulgaria at that time, there was no law that was strictly forbidding teenagers from going out if they're not 18. Now we have a law now, all teenagers under 18, they cannot simply go
Out.
out when after 10 p.m. So the curfew for people under 14 is 8 p.m. They have to be home by 8 p.m. And the curfew for people under 18 is 10 p.m. Otherwise, the parents will get fined. But then that wasn't the case. So there was no law against, youngsters just roaming around. And I know it's bad, but that's just how it was. The society was kind of depending on the parents that they're going to raise their kids right, which obviously didn't happen. But yeah, that's basically how it was. So anyway, Maggie's mother, she's very worried, and the first thing she does is actually call the police and report her daughter missing. And the police, they got the report, right? But it said like, okay, maybe she's with friends. Maybe she'll be back later. And they did file the report, but they didn't organize a search.
Yes, normally, when you file a report or came to the police station to make a complaint of missing person, initially police will say, okay, we know normally people always come around and complain that my loved one is missing. Okay, and maybe probably after 2 or 4 hours they come back. So on the normal circumstances, the police
Under normal
authority allow
circumstances,
24 hours
yes,
after the report.
yeah,
If the person doesn't comes back, that's when they start taking it serious. That no, okay,
yeah. Unfortunately, in this case, we're talking about a 14-year-old child. So normally, if someone is over 18, when you report them missing, the police is supposed to wait about 24 hours. Like, I understand that. However, we're talking about the child. So I kind of want to think that these cases should be taken more seriously because we're talking about a kid. And it's not like Maggie had a reputation for running away from home or like have had previous
History.
disappearances. And that's not how she was. And that's the point that if a child, a teenager, has history of running away or staying out with friends late, you would think, yeah, that's kind of normal. But Maggie didn't.
Okay, make me understand. Okay, before Maggie left home, did she tell anybody she was leaving home did, that day, that fateful day? Or did her parents know she was leaving home? Or did she left home after the school to her
Okay,
friend's place?
so the three girls were at the same school,
Okay.
and right after school they went to Antonia's place. She didn't go home.
She didn't go home.
No, she just went straight to Antonia's place.
Okay, and she was having fun. Did she contact her parents that, oh, I'll be spending or I'll be hanging around with my friend Antonia, or what's the other name? Maria.
Not really, but to be honest, that's not what I would do either when I was a teen. Like, I would just go hang around with my friends, especially if my parents they were at work all day. So as long as I'm home before they are,
But
it wasn't a problem. That's my point.
but did Maggie's parents knows about her daughter's relationship with Antonia?
Yeah. They were very close friends, especially with Maria. They were very close before Antonia came along. After that, it's not like they were not close, but Maria kind of became closer to Antonia than Maggie.
Yeah.
But the three of them were friends. They were hanging around a lot.
So when she made the report to the police stations, and the police asked her, okay, you can now file your report for missing persons. The mom contacted Antonia and Maria if actually their daughters are with them, or did
that happened on the next morning.
The next morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my interpretation of that would be that the mother filed a report in the police station, and then she thought it might be late, so she wouldn't call a child at like 10 p.m., I guess. So she called in the morning, and the first person she called was actually Antonia.
So what was her response?
Oh, she said that she saw Maggie the day before, but then Maggie went away with her cousin Dimitar.
Who is Dimitar?
Oh, there's no such person.
That name doesn't exist.
And Maggie doesn't have such a cousin.
The mom should know that it's a red flag.
Yeah, but she kind of brushed it off because, that could have been a misunderstanding. Dimitar could be a friend, and the girls misunderstood and took him for a cousin.
But she said he's a cousin.
Yeah, but maybe Maggie told him he was a cousin if he was a boyfriend or a, love interest or something. So they could have, just misunderstood.
Okay.
So she just brushed it off and didn't think much of it. But she, called everybody that she could think of, and nobody knew where Maggie was. And the police did nothing because it was Saturday.
Saturday, nothing. Yeah. Sunday, what happened? Nothing again.
No. They organized a search on Monday.
3 days later.
Yeah. So now it's been 3 days since Maggie got missing. Her mother filed the report on the first day.
Friday.
Yeah, she wasn't delaying anything. She wasn't, even hesitating about it. Why? My daughter is missing on the same day.
So why would the police wait 72 hours?
Well, their explanation at the time was that she probably went to spend the weekend with a friend.
14 years old.
Yeah.
Get a child.
Yeah.
Without the consent of the parents, it's not possible. Oh, if you don't,
Yes.
you make mistake. Okay, you are going to spend a night in my friend's place. At least she have a phone. She could have.
Yeah, she didn't have a
Okay,
phone. It was
Maggie.
switched off.
No, like say now, the murder wasn't taking place. That she really want to sleep over.
Yeah,
Like she
yeah,
would like at least she had a phone. Like she could have called mom or dad. I'm going to sleep over in Antonia's house today. Okay, I'm going
yeah,
to be.
yeah.
I'll be at home tomorrow after school. No.
But the police said that there are a bunch of cases like that. Teenagers going wandering around and missing, and they go back. And actually, Maggie's mother, she didn't have any other option but to go home and wait. And she did. So what happened was on Sunday, the 7th of March, even before the police organized a search for Maggie, Antonia and Maria, they threw a party.
On Sunday.
Yes. Maggie was not discovered yet. But yeah, they just decided to throw a party. Why not? And they invited even Maggie's ex-boyfriend. He was a ninth grader. His name is Sasho, and Maria was actually kind of in love with him. And he told the police later that they were cheerful, that they were drinking, as if they had some reason to celebrate. According to him, the two were toasting Maggie's murder. And in hindsight, of course, he didn't know at the time what happened, but in hindsight, can you imagine how this person feels? He was only 15 at the time, so he must be feeling very, very bad about this, about going to that party, even though he had no way of knowing what happened, obviously. So, with the arrival of March 8th, Women's International Day, the two um, new killers, they could no longer keep their mouth shut. So they decided to brag about what they did, to tell somebody.
Wow.
Yeah, they decided to, just
They reveal.
explain how badass they are. Just look at me, look at how scary I am, kind of thing. And so they uh, actually went to see their friend Christina, and they decided to tell her. And of course, she didn't believe them at first. Like, if my friend comes to me and says I murdered someone, I would not believe them. Like,
Actually, I would think maybe probably you are pranking me.
yeah, you're joking
Yes,
with me.
yeah,
Like,
it's not a joke. It's a
and,
joke,
and
and
also,
it's not
you're
real.
14. Like,
Yeah,
at 14, who kills people?
nobody kills
Like,
people.
yeah,
Like, why should you kill people by 14? And moreover, I've known you for all these years, and you know, I can't see you doing that.
yeah. And by the way,
They were
this
drunk.
girl.
They were high when they were telling
No,
Anthony.
that happened on the Monday, so
Mm.
they weren't
After the
high.
party.
Yeah, they were not high. They were not drunk. That happened in school.
Oh,
Uh,
the school in
yeah,
the
they went to
morning.
school and they told the 12-year-old Christina what happened. And of course, she didn't believe them, but then they decided to show her because,
The
yeah,
two
yeah,
her to the
to the shaft
shaft where
where Maggie's
Maggie
body
body
was.
still
Yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah.
Wow,
Because she
Jesus
didn't believe
Christ.
them, so they decided to prove that we actually did what we said we did. And they took her there, and later Chrissy recalls, I saw Maggie's nose and I was very, very scared. Yeah, of course you were scared. Like, those two girls, they're older than you. One of them is training judo, and they killed somebody that you know. And yeah, of course you would be scared. I would be out of my mind.
There's this psychological effect on you
Yeah, and
immediately, like, wow,
you
these
don't need
people
to be
are
12 to be
psycho.
terrified.
Yeah, you'll be terrified. No
Yeah,
silly cops.
and then she was threatened by the two girls, like, you cannot say anything because otherwise, something might happen to you too.
By that time, the news haven't broke out in the school yet.
No, it hasn't. There was still no reporting of her missing, by the way, like no newspapers, no nothing.
Okay.
The police organized a search, but that was kept under wraps for
So
now because they
on Monday
didn't.
morning now,
Yeah.
the police now went into action now.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they declare officially missing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, Chrissy, because she was so scared, and she could not just stay silent about this. And she told one of her friends, Vanya, and Vanya told her, like, this is very, very serious. You need to go to the police. You just cannot keep that quiet. That's not like somebody stole something. That's a murder. And on March 9th, at
4 days later.
yeah, 4 days after the murder, at 7 p.m., the tormented mother of Maggie received a call from the police. They tell her to come quickly to the station, but they didn't tell her why. They just told her to go to the station. And she just, puts on some shoes and just runs off the house because she's thinking they found her. But she's alive and well. Nobody's thinking my child is dead.
Which of the station? Very close to the city.
Yeah. So she just ran off to the police station, and she was thinking, oh, I'm going to give her a good beating now because, she disappeared for a whole weekend. That's what her thoughts were, because she didn't realize what happened yet. But at the police station, there was a terrible shock for her. The cops told her something that still blows my mind. I cannot believe that someone can say something like that to a parent who just lost a child. They told her she's been murdered. She was found locked up, but she was not raped. The killers have been detained.
Hold on. Let me understand again. The police called her. Before the police called her, how did the police find out now that
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you
because now you just said, okay, how would the police find out now? So we need to know.
Oh, we're gonna find out. But
okay.
Like, to me, that's so insensitive to tell a mother. Like, how is it important if she was raped exactly? Because that makes zero sense to me.
When there's a murder case and it's concerned a female, a woman, the first thing that we always a detective or people comes in mind, maybe she was kidnapped and raped and murdered.
Okay.
That is always the first issue.
And maybe because she was found naked.
Yes, because
okay. But I don't think her mother wanted to know that anyway. But so they didn't give her any further details though. She asked, who did that? And the only thing the police said was, when you find out, you'll be surprised. Nothing more. And she thought that's maybe because, the investigation is still ongoing, so they cannot know for sure, but that's not the case. She actually found out the next day from the newspapers.
From the newspaper?
Yeah. The police didn't tell her.
Oh.
She found out from the news.
Her daughter, beloved daughter, was killed.
Yeah.
That is.
She found out
ridiculous.
From the newspaper who and how.
And how they find her daughter.
Yeah. So, actually, how they discovered that Maggie was there was Chrissy actually did go to the police.
Chrissy?
Yeah, the younger girl that they told.
Did she go alone by herself to the police?
I'm guessing that she went with her parents because, if I'm a police officer and a 12-year-old comes to me and says, I saw a murder victim, I'd be, kind of skeptical. So my thought is that she actually told her parents, and they went together to the police station.
Okay, and then the news is already out. There's a missing person. Maybe probably.
They knew there was a missing person, and they were already doing the search. So when the little girl went to the police. They knew that it's the same girl, so she led them to where Maggie's body was. So this is how they actually found her. Um, and after discovering Maggie's body, the police conducted a search of Antonia's apartment, and they found the victim's clothes. And Antonia is arrested immediately because, obviously, evidence is found in her home. And about an hour later, the police detain Maria too. So uh, they're given a measure of pre-trial detention because, obviously, they cannot just be let out. And when they're brought to the police station, um, there were already two other witnesses there. It's not explicitly, said that it was Chrissy and the other girl, but like, who else could it be? And Antonia and Maria, they behave really arrogantly at this point. Antonia just shakes her head, like, watch it. And Maria actually did this.
Why? To who?
To the
To
other two
Antonia?
girls. No. To the other two girls
Oh.
that were witnesses.
Oh, the other two girls now.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
were invited to the police stations
Yeah.
to make a statement too. Okay.
So they were very arrogant at this point. Still, no remorse, no panic, no worry, nothing. 2 days later, on 11th of March, the two girls made full confessions during questioning before a judge. They confessed on everything. And on 12th of March, the authorities pressed charges against them under Article 116 of the Criminal Code for premeditated murder committed in a particularly cruel and painful manner for the victim, which is exactly what happened, actually. They were also charged with theft because they stole her phone and her ring. And also they're charged with making threats of murder. And they were detained. They told the police officers in front of the judge that they did it because they were envious of Maggie. Because she had everything. Obviously, she didn't have everything. Maggie's mom is a single mom, so she didn't have a father. And Maggie's mother was very hardworking, so maybe she was financially a little bit better than the other parents, but that doesn't mean that she had everything. But for example, Maria, she wanted a phone, but she couldn't afford it. So her parents couldn't afford it. So she was envious of Maggie. And they told the police officers that the idea actually occurred to them in 2003. Like, it was very early on they wanted to kill her. But the moment that they got lawyers, they changed the statements.
Defensive statement.
Yes. So they changed their version of events and attempted to present the murder as an accident. Like, Antonio was trying to show Maggie some things from judo, and she accidentally suffocated her for 30 seconds, and then they attempted CPR, but they were not successful. And that's the new version that they present after they get a lawyer, which I understand how before they just told one version, and then when they got lawyers they got a second version. But that's such an absurd, because so they hit the body, then they sold her phone, then they had a party. Antonia lied to Maggie's mother, and all of that is an accident. When you commit a murder by an accident, you just don't do that. You call the police and tell them, like, see, my friend, something happened, I'm panicking, and you know.
She's normal breathing. I don't know how.
Yeah, but you don't go hide the body and then sell her phone, have a party, lie to the mother, show the body to another girl. That's not someone who killed someone by accident. That's not an accident. Oh, that's my personal opinion. But yeah, it's obviously not an accident.
Okay, let's analyze the whole murder scene now. You've just said what happened now. So, okay, I want us from our own point of view. Everybody have the police have their own view, and everybody have their own view now. Okay, at the murder scene, it for you to strangle someone,
Yeah,
it takes a lot of effort
yeah,
and energy,
yeah.
and for you to strangle someone for like for Antonia and Maria to kill her for less than 30 seconds or 30 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
they
quite
said 30 seconds in the second version, but it was actually 30 minutes.
because I'm quite sure that Maggie would have been struggling or
Yeah.
shouting.
Yeah.
And you quite said that it's a populated area.
Yeah,
Are you
it
trying to
is.
tell me that there is no neighbor or there is no people that could have had her screaming for help for her life?
Okay, I think I can explain that. So, you know the buildings in Bulgaria, the apartment buildings.
Yeah.
So that was the 8th floor. That was the last floor. And even if she screamed, if you're passing through the street, you cannot know where it comes from. And it could be just, girls just playing something, it doesn't necessarily make sense. You're walking down the street and it doesn't make sense to hear a murder. I wouldn't be thinking that I'm hearing a murder if I'm walking down the street. On the other hand, about the neighbors, most people work, so during the day in those apartment buildings there aren't many people, so it's possible nobody actually heard. And even if they did, they would think there are three girls in that apartment. They're, just fooling around, messing around. So nobody was actually thinking that those girls could actually commit a murder. And also, there are some people who are always like, not my circus, not my monkeys. So they just don't get involved.
During those times, most of the apartment or building doesn't have CCTV.
No, no. I don't think even a lot of public buildings had CCTV at the time. Like there was CCTV in some public buildings, but not all of them. So yeah, it wasn't that popular at the time. So no, there was no CCTV.
Okay, now, so how did they have to carry Maggie's body from the dating and took her to the shaft?
Yeah, that's just one. That's just one flight of stairs. It's not
a
even
dead
a
body
whole floor.
is always heavy to
Yeah,
carry.
yeah, it is. But that will be only the neighbors on the 8th floor that could hear that kind of stuff. And also, I swear, it's just one flight of stairs. It's not like you can carry for floors and floors up. It's just one flight of stairs. So there were two, and I guess it wasn't that hard. I mean, she wasn't a big girl or anything.
So when the elevators were moving, so nobody noticed anything.
Yeah, nobody noticed.
I'm just guessing. How did they have to hide it to the level whereby even the elevator doesn't get stuck? The body doesn't crush.
I'm not sure what. I haven't seen pictures of the crime scene. Obviously, I don't want to see pictures of the crime scene. I'm guessing that they kind of somehow got lucky, if you can consider that luck anyway. But yeah, so the second version of events was so absurd, but the lawyers kind of implied that the two girls got slapped a couple of times and their hair got pulled in the police station, and that's why they did they did admit to something that they didn't do, but nobody believes that anyway. The prosecution actually believes that it was a premeditated murder, and yeah, I wouldn't put it past the police officers that they could just give you a slap or two. We're gonna do a later case on police brutality, but in that case, I seriously doubt there was more than 2 slaps. And even that, like, if somebody slaps me, I'm not going to admit to murdering someone if I didn't.
Uh,
Like,
um, I don't think their case, and I don't think the what's it called, the police officers, we can kind of start what's it called, applying
yeah,
forces on
yeah,
kids. They
mm,
can go through part some
yeah.
little process of interrogations, and maybe probably try to like
They
psychology
maybe
comes and like
shouted at them. That
yes,
I
which
can
is
believe,
is
which I would
normal.
shout at
Yes,
them.
because they want to get out some facts and some
Yeah,
what
yeah.
actually happened at
Well,
that
there was
particular
no
day.
official confirmation, as you can imagine. Like, not that anyone expected any official confirmation, because if
Whenever
I'm a
they
police officer and I slap someone, of course I'm not going to say, yeah, I did.
and moreover they confess initially, nobody
Yeah,
forced them, that they confess of committing the crime. So coming back to
yeah.
try to change the narrative is all the doings of the lawyers. We know most lawyers, when they come for
Well,
defense, like
that's their job.
is that the job? At
Yeah,
least we
so
must have
that's
a
normal.
defense at any trial.
Yeah, and this is actually where I'm going to leave you with part one, and we're going to continue with the trial in part two. Thank you guys for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed that case as much as anyone can enjoy a case about a child murder. But I hope you find it interesting, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
At the end of part two, we analyze and we are going to discuss the what's it called, what lesson do we have to learn from this murder case, and what we as parents have to like watch out for our kids in case of, so that next time such events can happen. This is for us. This is
Yeah.
just a psychological,
Yes.
emotional trauma, so that is
Yeah.
always happening
Yeah.
every
Always.
day. Like most parents doesn't know their kids
Yeah.
what they can do.
Of course they
Yeah.
don't.
So watch out for part two. It's coming soon. But do wait to
And
subscribe.
please tell us what you think about the case. What you think about the motives. Just tell us what you think in the comments.
We would like to hear your feedback from the from this case, and from if you have any questions, do where to drop any questions so we can respond to that.
Thank you guys.
Thank
See you
you.
in the next one.
Bye.